Have you tried making acrylic beads with your liquid and powder? It's not easy, is it? The liquid to powder ratio with that acrylic bead is the most important thing to consider when making acrylic nails. I've been teaching for over 30 years, and I wish I had this 30 years ago when I was learning. It would have saved me a lot of time. I'm going to show you the easiest way to learn how to do acrylic nails. Let's get started. First up, prep the nail, removing all the shiny surfaces with a profile. Okay, so I could talk about how to build acrylic nails literally all day long. In fact, I do when I'm educating, but I'm going to try to break this down as simple and quick so you can do this yourself at home on your own. I always leave a thin layer of acrylic to protect my natural nail. Okay, I'm going to use Let's Bond, and you want to use this a little bit more sparingly. And I put on the bottle which one you use first, because often we do make the mistake in combining or mixing those up. Okay, one of the most important things is, and I'm going to breeze by this part because I want to get to liquid and powder, but putting on your form. Form is super important, okay? The form acts like a platform. It's a step. It's a table, you might say. It's where you think the nail is going to be, but it's underneath it. That's all it is. So when you're placing the form, just a quick tip, focus on this part here, pinch the end so it's quite even on the end, and simply slip it under the natural nail. And don't concern yourself so much where the sides are. See the sides there? You don't have to tuck it under the side of the nail. That's, I think, where it slips a lot of people up. Again, I could talk about this for days, but we're just going to breeze by that. Okay, so you do want to dust that off, make sure, and I'm going to get rid of this piece of paper. This piece of paper is a worksheet that you can download. I highly recommend when you get your products, practice your liquid to powder on a worksheet first before you go to a nail. That's very, very important. I highly, highly recommend that. Okay, now it comes down to what product you're going to use. If you're learning acrylic, select a slow setting. The reason why is because it sets slow. The hardest thing about acrylic is when you make your bead, sculpting it before it cures up. That's what makes it hard. So that's why I made this, so it can go nice and slow, so you can sculpt before it cures up like that. If I had had this 30 years ago, it would have saved me many, many frustrations and many months turning into years of trying to learn how to do this. We did it the hard way, but if I had this, it would have been so much easier. So number one thing is you don't need a lot with this stuff. Slow setting, slow evaporating, slow moving, slow curing gives you lots of time to play with it. Now this is a 1/4 teaspoon. See that? Just to give you an idea on the size, 1/4 teaspoon's way too much for one nail. Now this looks like about 1/4 of the 1/4 teaspoon. They're calling it a pinch. So that's what I'm using. Okay, I'm gonna fill up this little pinch. Oops, a tiny little bit more. And I'm gonna show you how little you actually need. Now something I also do, and I should have thrown this out, so I didn't have it in here. I have 2 colors in my collection. Foundation pink. Very pretty colors, you can see. And then I have my pink tint, and it's more of a see-through. One's a little more opaque and one's kind of see-through. So I'm going to mix the two together. I want a little bit of my pink, which is see-through, and I want the same amount, which is more opaque. And the reason for that is I want the 2 tones of color. I want a little bit see-through, and I want it to be a little bit more opaque because I want it to cause a very natural tone over the nail. So it's about 50-50. We used to call it in my salon the Susie mix. And I would do that with other brands that I've had. I would always mix their more opaque and then the lighter pink together. And you can get a really beautiful shade. Very natural looking. The end is going to be a little bit more, well, you can see it right here. Very, very natural looking. I love it. Had great success. Clients love it. Okay, I've got my mixture right here. Beautiful blend. Very nudish. And now I'm going to create my first bead. Okay, if things are going to go wrong, this is the area where it's going to go wrong. Even people who know what they're doing can have trouble with this. And it becomes too runny. if you're using what you expect to be with the traditional, you use it very, very, very different if you've tried traditional. So what we want to do is we want to use way less monomer, 3 times less than we would with traditional. And of course, that stuff saves you money too. So when we get our brush nice and soaked, just kind of condition it with the product. And we want to take it to the side of the dish and remove. You're pressing it and removing most of it. It's pretty hard to make too dry of a bead. Then I'm going to hold it into my powder for about 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. And I want a small bead, especially when you're learning. Place that bead right on there, not near the cuticle. Slide it off, if you will. And then just wait a second. You can see the bead is absorbing into itself. It's not running everywhere and it's not falling off. Falling off would be too dry. Running everywhere would be too wet. See how it's just sitting there? Now it's waiting for us to tell it what to do. Dry your brush. Make sure your brush is nice and dry. And we're going to literally just start coaxing it. It's not running. We're just coaxing it where we might like it to go. And I'm going to feather it off. I can see the cuticle area. Now that's not at the cuticle. Because if I go too close to the cuticle, if it's thick around there, when you're learning, that's not a good idea. So that's why we want to pull back a little bit. So I'm just sort of softening it in here. It's reacting to my brush enough that it's sort of still settling a tiny little bit, and it likes it being coaxed, okay? There you go. You've created your first perfect bead, and look how you hardly did anything. If you work slow monomer, my slow setting product, properly, it will do most of the work for you. It is the easiest acrylic nail to make. Okay, so let's attack that again. Now, when you're building a nail, obviously, you can use one bead if you're accustomed to it or if you're used to, but that takes some, practice getting to that point. But that's not the goal. You don't have to head there. You can do it in 10 or 20 or 100 little beads if you want. So I'm going to go in there again. And again, I'm not going to get much. I'm not going to soak my whole brush this time because it's already conditioned. I'm just going to go into the very edge of that little pinch, and I am going to release on the side there again. I'm going to press to the side of that dish. I'm going to go back into my little powder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the more confident I get depends on where I place this bead. So I'm going to put it right here at the end. You can slide it off if you want. And the reason why I say just chill for a sec, because if it's running, you can decide if that's a no good bead and wipe it off and do it again, okay? And if it's too dry, it'll fall off. Most likely you won't get a dry bead out of that because this stuff works very dry. You don't need a lot of monomer. And you can see it's sort of relaxed a little bit. It's absorbing into itself. It's still kind of absorbing the powder and the liquid. Now it's to the point where okay, I'm ready. You can sculpt me. So now I'm just going to push it around where I want. And this one I could probably just leave right where it was. It kind of landed in a good spot. I'm okay with that. Okay. Now you can see we're not anywhere near the cuticle, right? We got to get near the cuticle. So I'm going to go and get a tiny little bead just like we did moments ago. And I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the most. And then I'm going to place that bead at the end of where all this other stuff was. Slide off if you like. Now I'm going to clean my brush. Again, I'm just getting it dry. I'm just taking off everything that was on there. Letting that bead sit there. See how he's just sitting there? Just chilling. See how it's kind of nuzzling up? Just my placement helped me. So I'm just going to coax it a little bit closer to that cuticle. And then I'm pulling it down the side. I am touching it like a whisper. Like if you feel your eyelash as it closes, that's what a gentle touch it is. And I am just sort of getting my brush between my cuticle and the bead that I just placed. And when you touch it like that, it's got just enough monomer in the brush that it'll relax it a little bit more. That's how it works. Look at this. I've hardly done anything, and it's done basically the work for me. I'm just sort of coaxing it in that direction. Okay, look how nice and smooth that is near the cuticle now. And I barely did a thing. Okay, look at that. Easy. Like I say, I wish I had this stuff. I would have been able to grasp learning where that bead is supposed to go a lot quicker. then, you know, I managed. I got there, but it was a long way around. Okay. So I'm going to get another little bead and I'm going to flip it over to this side a little bit. And I'm going in to get a little bit more monomer, tapping off to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I got a nice little bead, and I'm going to place that bead right about there. Dry my brush while I'm waiting. I'm going to let it absorb into it. See how it's not running? It's moving ever so slightly. It's just kind of absorbing into itself, but then it'll stop at some point because it's not absorbing. It's done. Now it wants to start curing. But I still have time because it's slow cure to shape. So I pushed a little bit toward my cuticle. I'm dabbing off my brush there. I don't want too much liquid in there. So I'm dabbing off a little bit because every time my brush hits the bead, I'm absorbing more liquid. Now I'm coaxing it down the side here. And now I'm feathering off near the cuticle just to make it nice and smooth. I can leave it like that and just file it. Okay, I'm taking off my brush. There's no product that I'm actually taking off onto here. It's all just monomer that's in the brush. I'm just drying it a little bit more. There we go. Now that side is done. Now I'll take a peek on this side. There is a tiny little area that's missing there. I find just when I'm doing videos, not when I did clients, of course, but when I'm doing videos at this angle, I just can't see all the way around it. So this side sometimes I get my head in the way for the camera. So I have to go back and double check that. Okay, so let's get a tiny little bead for that one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to place that bead right there. Little bead, right? Clean off my brush. I just cleaned it off, just dried it off. Letting it, you know, maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe another 6 seconds. And I can see it's stopped moving entirely now. And now it's waiting for me to tell it where to go. Yep, you're in charge of that bead. As long as the bead is sitting there waiting for you, you are in charge of that bead. If that bead is running, that bead's in charge. And don't beat yourself up on that. That is why I say don't take this to people right away. Practice on the practice sheet until you get that you're in charge of your bead. Okay? Okay, so that is now basically done on that side. Now, if we look at the whole nail, I'm not going to go very long. You can see the other nails are not very long at all. Very natural looking, very natural length. But I do need a bead on the end here that I can square up. And again, you can do the side, middle, and center. And maybe we should just do that. Or you can do it in one big bead. As you get better at it, you'll feel more comfortable to take a bigger bead, but don't do that right away. It may just frustrate you. I know that grief. Okay, so I'm going to place this right here. Just dry off my brush, and I'm just waiting. 4, 5, 6. And now it looks like I can sculpt it. So right now, this is a different technique. I'm using the barrel of my brush, and I'm sort of flattening it down. See how it's kind of sticking back a little bit? Too much monomer in my brush, so I'll just dust it off. And when I say dust it off, go to my blue pad and just kind of absorb some of it. And I don't want to get too long. I can sort of do there's not enough to do a full end shape here, but there's enough that I can start, getting it as much as I want to. I'll just fill it in what will go in there, right? Yeah, that looks like I've got some in there, but clearly it's not all the way in because there's not enough product there. That looks like a mess, right? That's okay. See, it's still shapeable. I'm still just kind of playing with it. Okay. So that end is not thick enough. And it's not dense enough. Sometimes you can tell that by just the color. It just looks really, really thin. So I'm going to grab another bead. This may be my final bead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a good size bead. And I'm going to place it right there in the center again. Let it sit there. Just place your bead and chill for a few seconds. Let it absorb into itself. And now you've got some time to sculpt. You've got about almost 3 times longer to sculpt as well than you would traditionally. pretty much the traditional stuff would be hardening up now, and I wouldn't be able to move it around quite as nicely as this is right now. So that's the huge advantage. This is what makes acrylic nails easier, is when you find a product and you find the right balance of liquid to powder and you make it work for you. I can see why many would be confused by this, because if you work it like a traditional monomer, it wouldn't work to your advantage. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the product. It just means maybe you're not using it properly. That's okay. It's all just a learning curve. And again, with the free edge, you don't have to get fussy with that, because your file will take care of that. Okay, as long as I got the length that I want out there and I made it nice and square, you can see he's ready to be filed up. It's looking pretty good. Okay, that means it's dried. 2 or 3 minutes in, it should be dried. For those of you who have used traditional, you won't have a sticky layer, and you can feel it's kind of mushy. Some people might think that's not completely dry, right? Because you got this little sticky layer. But it's not unlike gel polish or gel, that it has a dispersion layer that rises to the top. Notice how gel polish doesn't smell? That's what this doesn't smell either. Oh, I do want ding, ding, ding. That's to remind me, to remind you to don't forget when you subscribe to hit that little bell. Then you'll get notifications of my next videos. So now you have 2 choices. You can run it under warm water, and that will sort of solidify or make the surface layer hard too. Or you can simply take your file, take a good coarse file, and just see how you can see that's kind of gummy. Some people are thinking maybe that's kind of not cured properly. It's totally cured very well. And all you do is just take that gummy surface layer off. That's it. And all the rest under it will work like a traditional monomer that you're used to. So you just keep filing it, and then before you know it, you've shaped it all up. That's a whole other video. So just get yourself a set of good files, and then you can shape this nail exactly the way you want. In this case, I was going for a very nice sort of active length square. Square is one of my favorite shapes. I shaped square for probably 25 years of my career. I mean, they had other shapes too, but square was the most popular until coffins and almond shapes started coming in a few years ago. Okay, that's looking exactly the way I want it. Okay, now I filed this nice and smooth because I'm going to put nail polish on. And with a nice drop of oil on all my fingers, I like to massage that in, and then I will wash my hands and I'll put a beautiful coat of nail polish and show how natural these look. Okay, I'll go wash and we'll check out those reveal shots. So many of my students will say, well, of course, you make it look easy. I do, but I'm really breaking it down of where you want to go. So when you make those icky beads, don't be hard on yourself. That's all a part of the learning process. Every bead that you don't like is a step closer to the bead that you do want. Even Cameraman, you were starting to get the beads.
Oh, I did on that video,
and he's only done it once. He's also really sensitive to the smell of the traditional. Mm-hmm. How do you find this stuff?
I can't smell it at all, honestly.
Yeah, I don't. And I can't really judge it because I don't really smell the smelly stuff that much either. So if you want to check out more videos that I have about more instruction on how to get that right liquid to powder bead, that's your ticket to the perfect nail. Check this video out.